Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. And from at home, shh, everybody, Shabbat Shalom. I don't know about you. You can keep her. We love her. She can trade places every now and then. I'm already cold thinking about Tuesday night, going out with my kids. So if we can, Halloween. Right. Yes. So if you can start warming us up together with a little nigun, please join with me. 3, 4. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la. If you know it, sing wherever you are. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Let's put some hands together. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la la. Ya la 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 ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la ya la la. Ya la 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 ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la ya la la. Ya la 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 ya la.
So the rabbis have been discussing all of you, and we've asked several people over the years and weeks to come up and light our Shabbos candles, and oftentimes people say, no, I don't feel right, I'm not dressed correctly. So tonight, after striking out, we are actually going to call on a random person who has no idea that she is being called up for the candles. So Carol Israel, where are you sitting? We'd like you to join us. That was fun. That was more fun. Yeah, while Carol's coming up, on page 13 we'll turn to our Candle blessing, Rabbi Loss.
We're going to ask people to sign cards next week if they'd like to do this.
We have
And
a new
take a
policy.
card.
This is a great idea. Everybody who would like to light candles in a future service next week.
No, every week.
Oh, each week they have to sign in.
Every week. And then we're going to go ahead like this and
Take
say,
a random
Mazel tov.
person.
Isn't that a nice, it's really a nice Hamish idea?
Done.
Oh, done.
I'll have those cards designed by next week. We'll have them out. It's
In
perfect.
3 or 4 weeks. No,
Or we'll just put the ticket under their seat.
no.
Go ahead and light it.
Or underneath one of your seats tonight. That was Rabbi Marla's idea.
I'm being serious.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadikner shel Shabbat.
We continue with Lecha Dodi on page 34.
Lecha Dodi
Dodi,
לקראת כלה
Likrat Kala,
בני שבת
Bnei Shabbat,
קבלה
Kabbalah,
Lecha Dodi
Lecha Dodi,
לקראת כלה
Likrat Kala,
בני שבת
Bnei Shabbat,
קבלה
Kabbalah,
שמור וזכור בדיבורך השמיע ערך מיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד בשם תפארת ונטילה לך דודי
Lecha Dodi,
לקראת כלה
Likrat Kala,
בני שבת
Bnei Shabbat,
קבלה
Kabbalah,
לך דודי
Lecha Dodi,
לקראת כלה
Likrat Kala,
לשבת
Bnei Shabbat,
קבלה
Kabbalah, Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'nelcha, Ki מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה.
לך דודי
דודי,
לקראת כלה
לקראת כלה,
בני שבת
בני שבת,
קבלה
קבלה,
לך דודי
דודי,
לקראת כלה
לקראת כלה,
בני שבת
בני שבת,
קבלה
קבלה.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי
דודי,
לקראת כלה
לקראת כלה,
בני שבת
בני שבת,
קבלה
קבלה,
לך דודי
דודי,
לקראת כלה
לקראת כלה,
בני שבת
בני שבת,
קבלה
קבלה.
לך דודי
דודי,
לקראת כלה
לקראת כלה,
בני שבת
בני שבת,
קבלה
קבלה,
לך דודי
דודי,
לקראת כלה
לקראת כלה,
בני Ne Shabbat,
B'nei Shabbat,
Kabbalah,
Kabbalah,
Chadodi,
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 Chadodi.
We turn to page 37. Every once in a while, we'd like to give you an insight into how this prayer book was created. And the idea of the book is that often on the right side of the page will be the traditional prayers, and on the left side will be a more creative rendering of that prayer. And for the Kabbalat Shabbat service, Psalm 93 is a part of the traditional Matbeah Tefillah, and it's one of the psalms that I like the least. Because it talks about God being, robed in majestic, robes, clothed in majestic robes. First of all, I don't like the image of God being like a king. And for those of you who know me at all, you know that I really hate robes. So this was never my favorite reading. And so the reading that comes afterwards is my attempt to sort of come to terms with this psalm that I really detest. Okay, so that's what's going on here. We read responsibly on page 38. Just as God disdained all of the majestic trees in favor of a simple burning bush, and the highest, most regal mountains in favor of the modest Mount Sinai. Help us to transform our ambition into idealism. Pride in our accomplishments into an appreciation of your glorious creation. We continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 42.
Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach yirotei v'yamich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayed kol beit Yisrael B'gala, b'gala u'v'zman kahari ve'imeru Amen Yesh me Rabba mivorach Yolam u'lalmei al-mahaya Yitbarach Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yipar ve'yitromam ve'yitnasei Ve'yitadar ve'yitale ve'yitalal Shemei tekudesha Verich Ve'ela min kol berchata ve'shirata Tushbechata ve'nechemata Gamiran ve'alma ve'imeru Amen La 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 Baruchu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Hamevorach Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. On page 45, we pray together at the top of the page. If fear is like a rock, then let me be a hammer. If sorrow is a fire, then let me be the sea. When challenges arise, may my heart increase in strength, like the moon that shines brighter when the darkness falls. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, O God. At the bottom of page 56, again we pray together. You didn't have to command me to love you. I'd have loved you anyway.
You remembered me when it felt like everyone else had forgotten. You were kind when the world wasn't. You were the spark of light in the dark when I needed to find my way. In you I found strength, courage, hope. So you didn't have to command me to love you. I'd have loved you anyway.
If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen to our God. Is there a question on your mind? Is the answer hard to find? Then listen to our God. Listen with all your heart and soul, and with all your might. Write them and learn them and teach them well, every morning and night. Close your eyes and listen.
Quiet yourself, there's nothing to say. Stop all the chatter that gets in the way and listen to our God. When the wind and the thunder finally disappear, there's still a voice that you will hear if you listen to our God. You can hear it from the top of the highest hill or from the valley below. It can come from the edge of the universe. It can come from within your soul. Close your eyes and listen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Listen to our God. Listen to our God. As you're seated, we continue on 57. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha v'derech v'shochbecha u'bekumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chetavetam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem emet.
Everyone's been talking a lot about water lately. We've been talking about water since the hurricanes came, and now we're talking about water again because how many of you are boiling? Yeah. But it's amazing. It really is kind of a minor inconvenience, right? At the end of the day, it kind of makes you think of Flint and how people have been living this way for 2 years, right? And so it kind of makes us think of our obstacles and how we face them, right? The waters that we have to pass, the waters that we have to get through, the waters that we're not supposed to drink, right? And so as the children of Israel stand at the shores of the Red Sea, they know they're about to face obstacles, but they were brave enough to step in. And so we sing our song of freedom together on page 62.
מי כמוך, מי כמוך, מי כמוך, האלים אדוני. מי כמוך, מי כמוך, מי כמוך, נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה. Who is like thee? Who is like thee? God among the mighty. Who is like thee? מי כמוך, מי כמוך, מי כמוך, מי כמוך, באלים אדוני, באלים אדוני, באלים אדוני. מלכותך ראו בניך, וכהים לפני משה, זה לי ענו ואמרו.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגהלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Continue responsively on page 63. I am awake to myself and all others. I am awake to those who share my home. I am awake to an ancient text. I am awake.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות השביעי, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We rise together on page 68. Adonai sefatai tivtachu fia giteilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, U'mebie Geula libnei bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah.
We continue together on page 69. Prayer invites us to let God's presence suffuse our spirits, to let God's will prevail in our lives. Prayer cannot bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Baruch atah Adonai, Machayeh HaKol. Blessed are you, O God, who renews all things.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated as we pray silently.
Time in a bear mirma, Bilim kalalai, nafshi tidom, and nafshi kafar lakol tehia Elohai, 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 Nitzor l'shonim eros, time in a bear mirma, Bilim kalalai, nafshi tidom, and nafshi kafar lakol tehia Elohai, Elohai. Time in a very mom, and in Kalalai, Nafshi Tidom, and Nafshi Kafar Lakoti Elohai, Elohai, Tach Livi, Tach Livi. So Rabbi Jen spoke of water, and I was thinking about my kitchen with 6 different pots filled with water boiling on the stove. I was just so grateful I had so many pots. But it really made me recognize how vulnerable we are, how easy it is to, like, just out of habit, run your toothbrush under the water and then throw that one away, and go to the refrigerator for a glass of water, can't drink that. And we are sort of at the mercy of our bodies and the situation that we're in. And fortunately, we have the ability, in this case, with our water, to fix it fairly easily. But there are those in our community who have illness, who are vulnerable in so many different ways, especially when we're in the hospital, we're at our most vulnerable. And I recognize also that it is the strength of our community pulling together for each one of us that gives us courage and gives us hope and brings healing. And so let us join together in this prayer for healing, the Misha Berach, page 83, thinking of those in our family, in our community, those who are in need of a special prayer. This moment in our service, we have the pleasure of inviting a little girl up onto the bima to give her her Hebrew name. And so it is with great pleasure that we invite Macy Noah Driscoll, the daughter of Stephanie Appel and David Driscoll, forward now. Come on up. As you're coming up, we have a gift for you of candlesticks, Shabbat candlesticks that you can light every Shabbat to remind you of tonight, as well as a Shabbat biyachad dinner, so your mom doesn't have to cook.
ברוכים הבאים בשם אדוני, ברכנוכם מבית אדוני.
Macy, it is so cool that you are getting your Hebrew name tonight, because usually on this bima we name little babies who really don't even remember getting their Hebrew name. And you not only were part of the process of choosing your Hebrew name, but you also made the decision that you wanted to receive your Hebrew name here tonight. And that is really, really special. Macy, you are the window through which we glimpse the future. At this sacred moment in your life, we bestow upon you the Hebrew name Noah Yafa Bat David V'Shoshana Chaya. You're named in memory of your great-grandmother, Henrietta Appleton, and your aunt, Karen Appel. Your proud grandparents are Midge and Jerry Appel and Barbara and David Driscoll. Macy, we love you. We welcome you. We're so proud of all that you've done so far, and as you continue your Jewish education, we pray that you grow to Torah, to chuppah, to ma'asim tovim, to acts of loving kindness. Mazel tov.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו הזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו הזמן הזה.
Macy, I want you to know I've been here, a couple years now, and no one's ever cheered for a Hebrew name before. But I think it has something to do with the Noah part because, I have a Noah too, and it's clearly the best name, right? Okay, so as has become my annual tradition, I want to begin this pre-Halloween sermon with a scary story. When the first man, Adam, saw that he was alone, God made for him a woman like himself from the earth. God called her name Lilith and brought her to Adam. They immediately began to fight. Adam said, "You lie beneath me," and Lilith said, "You lie beneath me. We're both equal, for both of us are from the earth." And they wouldn't listen to each other. And as soon as Lilith saw this, she uttered the divine name and flew up into the air and fled. Adam began to pray before his creator, saying, "Master of the universe, the woman you gave me has left." And so God sent 3 angels and said to them, "Go bring her back. If she wants to come, she'll come. If she doesn't want to come, don't force her." And so the 3 angels went and they found her in the sea at the place where the Egyptians were destined to drown. And there they grabbed her and said to her, "If you will go with us, well and good, and if not, we will drown you in the sea." And Lilith then said to them, "My friends, I know God only created me to weaken infants when they are 8 days old. From the day a child is born unto the 8th day, I have dominion over that child. But from the 8th day onward, I have no dominion. If a girl, I rule over her 12 days. And they said, "We will not let you go until you accept upon yourself that each day 100 of your children will die." And she accepted it. And that is why 100 demons die every day. And they wouldn't leave her alone until she swore to them, "In any place that I see you or your names on an amulet, I will have no dominion over a child." And so they left her. And this is Lilith, who weakens the children of men. Now, I bet many of you have never heard of Lilith before, although Rabbi Marla said, she's gone, that she talks about her every once in a while. She's called the Lady of the Darkness, and yet we don't throw baby showers. We don't tell people the names of our children until after they're born. Now, it's because our grandmothers told us not to in hushed tones, warning us that it was bad luck, and if that we did, they wouldn't buy us the nice furniture set that we had our eye on. But really, the reason we don't do these things is because of Lilith. This midrash that I shared with you is from the alphabet of Ben Sirah and is meant to explain the seemingly different creation stories in the book of Genesis, which we read just a few weeks ago. Now, in the first one, in this one, man and woman are created in God's image together. And in the second, God breathes the breath of life into Adam, and then Eve is created later from Adam's rib. Well, Ben Sirah supposes, maybe they really are 2 different stories, and maybe they're different women, and we're meant to learn a lesson. Now, this is a great Halloween story. There are demons and flying and sacred amulets. But the eeriest part to me is that the commentary from the very beginning of our most sacred, beloved text puts women in their place. And maybe, just maybe, if Lilith had a voice, she would raise it to cry, "Me too." Yeah. Now, a bit of background. When news of Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein's decades of sexual coercion and assault broke last week, the world responded in full force. Scores of women came forward with stories to share about their Weinstein moments. Assistants, actresses, business associates, daughters of friends. But the worst part was the complacency of an entire industry. That so many people knew what was happening and brushed it off and ignored it and were too frightened of the consequences of speaking out that they remained silent. Now, Alyssa Milano, an actress and victim of Weinstein's, turned to Twitter, suggesting that anyone who had been sexually harassed or assaulted post "Me Too" to convey the enormity of the problem, and the response was both amazing and horrifying. Overnight, my newsfeed was full of Me Too's. My friends, our teenagers, my teachers, my role models, my family. And most just posted those two words, "Me Too." No explanation, just adding their names to millions of women, drawing attention to the magnitude of the female experience in this day and age. And so many others shared stories of harassment, of coercion, of assaults by strangers and by those they trusted. And with this simple act, we had the entire world talking about women's equality, how it's not enough for us to declare the sexes equal when so many women are treated as less than. They're treated as objects, as tools for those with more power. And so here's Lilith, portrayed as a demoness, punished for all eternity for pushing back against the demand for submission. Lilith, who was vilified for wanting to be Adam's equal. And she would definitely have been posting Me Too all over her Facebook page. In this week's Torah portion, Lech Lecha, we find one of the most iconic narratives in our tradition. God says to Abram, "Go forth from your land, your birthplace, from your father's house to the land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation and I will bless you." And he goes, solidifying his role as the father of the Jewish people. And of course, he brings his wife, Sarai. But I want to share with you the next part of the story that's often overlooked. As Abram and Sarai travel toward the desert, there is a famine, and so they turn to Egypt. Fearing for their safety there, Abram says to Sarai, "I know what a beautiful woman you are. So when the Egyptians see you and say, 'This is his wife,' they may kill me, but you they'll keep alive. So please say you're my sister, that on your account it may go well for me, and that my life may be spared because of you." And so Sarai agrees. And when they enter Egypt, it is just as Abram predicted. Her beauty is noticed, and she is taken to the Pharaoh's palace. Abram is then rewarded with sheep and cattle and donkeys and slaves and camels because of her. Now, this story is disturbing on many levels. Why would Abram be so willing to offer his wife to the Egyptians? Why would she agree to such an arrangement? How could Abraham, who we expect to have such high moral standards, accept riches for the taking of his wife? This is not Sarai's story. This is Abram's. Sarai is the object, not the subject. And as the object, her experience in our text is irrelevant. Her sacrifice for her husband goes unnoticed as a sacrifice. And as Tikva Fry-Merkenzie writes in Reading the Women of the Bible, a patriarchy is, after all, a patriarchy. Sarai is not a wife in the same way that we, with our modern minds and relationships, understand wife. She is property, and she's treated as such. "Me too," Sarai says quietly. "Me too." In order to find meaning and relevancy and substance in our rich narratives, we cannot look away from these stories. We can't excuse the behavior because that's just how things were back then, and who are we to judge? Because we have to judge, and we must struggle, and we must wrestle meaning, especially from these disturbing instances, or else we risk allowing the uncomfortable scenes to disappear. And these two are a part of our story, and they are clearly still a part of our story. And so now that we know what we've known all along, what comes next? After the Me Too's, men all over social media responded with their own hashtags. There was hashtag I believe you. There was hashtag yes me and hashtag I will. And in a thread online by women rabbis sharing our own Me Too stories from congregations and institutions, someone suggested that perhaps the response should be drawn from the Shema. Hear, O Israel. Hashtag we are listening. And so by truly listening, in that same depth of soul and strength of intention that we use when praying the Shema, we may see the world differently. We will be more aware, more conscious, more woke, if you will. And once we hear, then we can act. And so I want to leave you tonight with a prayer that was written and posted by my childhood rabbi, Steve Folberg, in response to the Me Too phenomenon. He writes, Shema Yisrael, listen closely to women's voices, O Israel, and may listening lead to empathy. May empathy lead to respect. May respect lead to compassion. May compassion lead to personal responsibility. May personal responsibility lead to atonement. And may atonement lead to justice. And may justice at long last undo generations of violence and oppression, silence and shame. Kein Yehi Ratzon for Lilith, for Sarah, for me, for you, and for all of us. Together we say, Amen.
Kol haolam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, gesher tzar me'od, gesher tzar me'od. Kol haolam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, gesher tzar me'od. Gesher tzar me'od, gesher tzar me'od, gesher tzar me'od. Kol haolam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, gesher tzar me'od. Sing with us. But the main thing is to have no fear at all. Have no fear to have no fear at all. But the main thing to recall is to have no fear at all. Lie, 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 lie. Gesher tzar me'od, gesher tzar me'od, gesher tzar me'od. Kol haolam kulo, gesher tzar me'od, gesher tzar me'od.
It's now my pleasure to call to the bima the president of our congregation, Dr. Ed Royal.
Shabbat Shalom. How many new members do we have in here tonight? Not too many. That's good. We're solid. But there are lots of new members in our congregation, and all of them are invited to celebrate their membership with us on November the 2nd at 7 p.m. by coming to our backstage pass. You can enjoy wine, cheese, coffee, desserts, chatting one-on-one with our clergy, and get a tour of the back scenes of Temple Israel from the best tour guides we have, our clergy. And they can discover why we're known as the largest small congregation in the country. On Wednesday, November the 8th, Sisterhood will have their fashion, fun, and games as they have their fabulous fashion show and luncheon beginning at noon. You can shop from 10 a.m. till 3:30 in the boutiques and just find wonderful gifts for those that you love. And if you're wondering what to do with last year's coat, Temple Israel is partnering with Tappers for their annual coat, mitten, hat, glove, and boot drive, and it's going to go on until the end of November. So you can purchase new goods or any lightly used items and donate them, and they'll be distributed by mid-December. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and on Sunday, November the 19th at 5 p.m. at the First Presbyterian Church of Birmingham, there will be an interfaith Thanksgiving service sponsored by Temple Israel, the Muslim Unity Center, and a number of other churches throughout our metro area. Our own Gail Katz and Bryant Frank will be participating in that service, and we'd love to have a large contingent of Temple Israel members at that service. You can bring canned goods to support Haven and the Welcome Inn, those agencies that help those in need. So mark that down on your calendar. And as you leave tonight to go to the Oneg, please join us for Shabbat greetings. Check on the information table or call the temple office during business hours if you want more information about these programs. And tonight, let me wish y'all Shabbat Shalom.
Well, I didn't run away. I was just hiding in the back. And I noticed, while we may not have a lot of new members here tonight, we do have a lot of guests. And so we welcome our guests tonight, and I specifically would like to welcome Danny Hertz, who's the director of 6 Points Camp in North Carolina, where our kids and Rabbi Bennett's kids go to camp. And surprise, like we did our candlelighter, we're going to invite Danny to come forward to help us open the Ark for the Aleinu as we invite all the kids in the congregation. I know there's another Danny here, so you can come up. And if you're 11 years old and younger, come on up. Page 189 for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please be seated. We turn now to the task of memory as we think of those in our community and congregation who've died in the past 30 days, the period of Shloshim. We remember Helen Edelman, Rhoda Bennett, Hy Blinder, Karen Block, Joseph Breschgold, Lois Budman, Sherry Kale, Albert Coleman, Lillian DeRoven, Jacqueline Eckhouse, Maddie Frederick, Elaine Garcia, Francis Goldberg, Harold Gottlieb, Ethel Hyman, Leo Jacobs, Gertrude Kaplan, Joshua Kent, Mark Klinger, Barbara Crone, Gary Lebret, Beverly Laker, Gary Lubin, David Meyer, Dorothy Reitman, Nettie Rothenberg, Marianne Shapiro-Schwartz, Zelda Schwedel, Rita Steinberg, Zachary Wallace, Michael Weinberg, Michael Weiner, Victor Weidenbaum, Harvey Wolf, Gertrude Zickerman, Alan Wortman. And we recall those whose yard sites fall at this time: Evelyn Barnett, Madeline Berman, Dr. Easton Brodsky, Alexander Bruni, Vera Cherkasky, Jerry Clayton, Peter Clayton, Phyllis Ann Colburn, Eva Gerlich, Lynn Goodman, Stephen Gottlieb, David Gutman, Mac Halper, Larry Kyman, Ruth Cass, Norma Lane, Irving Margolis, Sarah Millman, Dave Mitz, Jerome Price, Michael Roberts, Pierce Rosenthal, Samuel Schwartz, Marcia Seifman, Eleanor Salvin, Philip Salvin, Ruth Sherman, Eddie Silver, Zola Snyder, Alexander Surtees, Harry Topolsky, Jason Sachs, Abraham Acker, Roseanne Toby, Joseph Goldstein, Miriam Levine, Abraham Bressoff, Dora Walken, Ryan Scott Rossman, Stanton Hutton, Linda Herbst, Pearl Moss, Cheryl Berman, Chuck Mayer, Marilyn Lansat, Lester Friedman, Judy Whites, Daniel Alpert. Tehei Nishmotehem Sorabit Sorachaim. May their souls be bound up in the bond of everlasting life and memory, as we turn now to page 199 for the words of Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, ve'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chaye chon u'vyomei chon u'vchaye duchol Beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam omei omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved among us. Amen.
We conclude our service on the first page of your siddur, if you want, with Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Amen. Amen. Am Yisrael Chai. Amen. Amen. Am Yisrael Chai, Amen, Amen, Am Yisrael Chai, Amen, Amen, Am Yisrael Chai, Oh, Rabbeinu Chai, Oh, Rabbeinu Chai, Oh, Rabbeinu Chai, Oh, Amen, Amen, Am Yisrael Chai, 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 Oh, Rabbeinu Chai, Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Amen, Amen, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. Shabbat Shalom.